Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Josh, and today I am about to wade into the whole big ugly conversation around the brand new Lexus ES. Yeah, I know. So many people have so many opinions and thoughts. I have opinions and thoughts. I will share a lot of my opinions here in this video as well. But I also wanted to share just a few interesting things that I found and discovered while going through kind of in a little bit more detail and really reading between the lines in some of these different press releases from across the globe, because this was a global reveal. So after the car was shown in Shanghai, a lot of other countries out there, the European nations, Lexus USA, among others, and Lexus Japan, like Toyota in Japan. We got a lot more detail as other countries started to roll out their press releases. And there have been some really, really interesting things that Toyota is hinting at, and that I think explain a lot of things that we've started to see from Lexus, not just from this new ES, but also in a lot of their other new products, which many of which I've complained about here on the channel. So with all that said, let's get into it. First, we're going to address the car. Then I want to talk about some of the changes that I think are coming to the Lexus brand that are being kind of alluded to in these different press releases. And then kind of as a side note of that conversation on the Lexus brand as a whole, there are some really interesting things that are being, again, implied here through subtext about the global geopolitical landscape that we're living in right now. And for Americans, my American viewers here, I think there's some really interesting things that could happen here in the American car market as a result of the changing kind of dominance in the auto world from other countries out there. So with all that said, got a lot to talk to you about. Let's get into it. So first, let's talk about the car. And I don't think there's a nice way to say this. I mean, that thing is just fugly. I'm sorry. Maybe it'll grow on me. You know, I didn't like the Camry at first when it came out, the new kind of new 9th generation Camry, but it's definitely grown on me. Maybe that'll be the case with the ES, but for the moment, I get why it looks like that, because, you know, it's an EV. It was designed to be an EV from the get-go, and so it's got to be all aerodynamic and swoopy and slippery and all this kind of thing. But what I don't understand is the ugly little character line, or whatever it is that they're calling it, that fake vent thing. The very first thing I saw, especially when you look at like the front 3/4 angle of the new ES, it looks like a Charger. And I'm sorry, but I don't like Stellantis products in general, much less like the Charger. Like the Charger is, no offense to anyone out there who's watching this video, but that is the credit criminal car. Why do I want my Lexus to even like conjure up any kind of memory or thought of a Challenger or Charger? Like, I have nothing nice to say about that car. It doesn't look like a Lexus to me. I mean, it's got the hallmarks and the kind of the visual signatures of a Lexus, but I don't like the door handles. I don't like the profile. I don't like that weird faux vent on the side. And then on top of that, to add insult to injury, the interior looks like it came right out of a Tesla. And you know what's been kind of interesting about the car market as of late is we've actually seen a lot of consumer revolt. People go, I don't want everything in a touchscreen. I want buttons. I want knobs. I want switches. And then, like we've seen with the new Subaru Outback, they put physical climate controls back in the Outback. And since it's back in the Outback, it's a pretty safe assumption to make that those will go back into every new Subaru now. And same with Volkswagen. Volkswagen's abandoning a lot of the haptic touch kind of, you know, switches and controls that they were starting to do in some of their cars on the steering wheel. We're starting to see automakers take to heart the feedback and criticism of these giant touchscreens, and yet Lexus is over here with the new ES just going all in on a touchscreen. I mean, they got rid of the knobs that are at least still in like the, you know, the RX, NX, GX, and TX. Bad, just bad. And what's also interesting about this is, you know, and I mention this every single time I get into a new Toyota car that has their new button bank in it for climate control. Toyota, not Lexus, but Toyota seems to know that buttons are the vibe. Like, that is what people want. They just work. And Toyota's got that great button bank. And I've said before that, like, if Lexus took that same, like the exact same button bank, so same design, and they just did the keys in like, you know, a really nice aluminum finish or something like that with like a laser engraved, you know, text and markings and stuff, it would look so luxurious. And it doesn't take up much space. Like, they could have put that right in the, you know, this new ES, but no, they have to do all touchscreens, and the very few physical controls in that car are some ugly, stupid, like haptic touch thing, like what Nissan is doing in some of their cars. It's just bad. And I swear to God, you guys, every single time Lexus brings out a new car, I fall in love with this car a little bit more, because this car is just a reminder to me of what the Lexus brand used to be. You know, Lexus used to care about material quality, about good ergonomics, about all the things that make this GX so wonderful and so special. And with every new product that they put out, I just feel like they abandon the things that made them so successful. Now here, listen, I fully understand that like a lot of people sell Lexus as fuddy-duddy, as old money, as kind of geriatric in a way, and I get that Lexus does have to change, and they do have to find a way to kind of carry the brand forward into the future. But all the things that have always made me love Lexus are now just, they're gone. And if they're gone from Lexus, like what is really stopping me from going and buying an Audi? I've always loved Audi's design language. I don't really care for their new interiors either, but like if I'm not guaranteed reliability with a Lexus, which I'm not anymore because a lot of these engines are questionable, there is absolutely no incentive to me to go and buy another one. So yeah. Okay, next up, let's move on to my thoughts about the brand. And this is where a lot of these press releases are really interesting. Now, notably, in the Japanese press release, Lexus says that this new ES is the catalyst for a complete reimagining of the Lexus brand, and we will see more at the Tokyo Motor Show later this year. Now, this is a really, really important point to not overlook with regard to what this car means and where the brand is going to go. We're seeing a lot of major changes to the entire approach that Toyota and Lexus have taken. We're going all in on EV first platforms, and at least in China and Europe and Asian markets, we're already moving on to a completely new operating system. And that's really notable because the current Lexus infotainment system came out in the 2022 Lexus NX. It might have been in a few Toyota cars and trucks before that, but at least in the Lexus line, I believe the 2022 NX was the first one with this system. And I've been saying for a while, and I think I said in a video that I did last year about kind of the Lexus brand and where I thought it was going, I really feel like Lexus phoned in this current generation, the NX, the RX, the TX, the GX. These cars feel like they were just designed for, you know, to fill a gap until Lexus could get to their portfolio of the 2030s. That's where we are now. This ES is the first like true new generation Lexus product that they're putting out, because all the other cars up until now have been like, they literally share so much with their Toyota counterparts that myself and a lot of you out there don't feel like they're true Lexus cars. They're Toyota plus, you know, Toyota but a little bit better. And I think with this new generation of Lexus cars that they're apparently going to show at the Tokyo Motor Show, that we are going to see the true next generation of Lexus. Now, what that looks like, if the ES is any indication of what the next generation of Lexus cars is going to look like and feel like, and you know, kind of the general philosophy that they're going to follow, I'm not interested. I'm not excited about that, because Lexus has been very transparent about the fact that they want to be an EV only brand by 2035. So 10 years from now, globally, they are eyeing a future for them that is only BEV. And these first cars that we're seeing, this ES and, you know, whatever else they're going to show later this year, this is moving in that direction. And, you know, I really think, I've said before many times on this channel, that I really think in the not so distant future that if you want a gas powered premium vehicle, you are going to Toyota for that. Everything at the Lexus dealer will be some kind of EV. So yeah. And finally, before we move off of the Lexus brand conversation, let's talk about the Lexus logo. I am so sick of seeing L, E, X, U, S everywhere on these cars. It was bad enough when they put it on the back of the car. Now it's on the steering wheel. And a little bit of me died inside when I saw that, because coming back to my beloved GX that we're sitting in right now, one of my favorite things, and I know this is really vain, and I not sorry. One of my favorite things about this car is, you know, when I'm driving this car, not to mention the wooden steering wheel, but like when I look down at my steering wheel when I'm in the car, I see the Lexus badge. And maybe it's because I'm 30 plus, and so I grew up with, you know, the wonderful cars of, like, Lexus and I kind of grew up together. You know, I mean, Lexus is not that much older than I am as a brand. So, you know, growing up, for me, the Lexus badge meant something. And now that that badge has gone away, it's just like, it's just not special. And the interesting thing about this was, I participate in what's called the Lexus Advisory Board. That sounds way more highfalutin than it actually is. That's basically just Toyota's name or Lexus's name for, like, you know, when an automaker sends owners surveys on their email and they ask you about design decisions or, you know, how would you feel about this kind of thing. That's what that is. Well, anyway, about maybe like 3 to 4 months ago, I got an email from them with one of those surveys asking about brand identity. And in that survey, they asked, like, do you prefer LEXUS or the Lexus badge? And I was appalled that they were even asking that question. So I took screen grabs thinking, you know, that I'd probably end up talking about it at some point. So if I can find those, I'll put them in the video. I was disgusted, to say the least, when I saw some of the visual, you know, kind of collateral that they were showing in that survey, because I don't think it looks elegant. I don't think it looks special. I don't think it looks unique. I don't think it feels or looks elevated in any way, the way that you would want a luxury car, you know, emblem or logo or brand mark or whatever to look. It just is. It's basic, and everybody's doing it. Subaru's doing it too. SUBARU on the back of the new Outback. Like, Lexus, I just can't. It's terrible. I don't want to see it. At least the new ES has the L badge on the hood, but I don't know. Lexus as a brand, will people out there buy them? Yes. So do I think the Lexus brand is going to die? No, but I think the quality of their products is going to die. The design is going to die. The true luxury that we used to get from Lexus, I think those are the things that are going to die. So yeah. Okay, and finally, because this is long, I know, I apologize. This has been just me like ranting at you for like half an hour now. But the last thing I want to talk about, and this is actually really interesting, so hopefully there's somebody who's still listening to this. I want to talk about the subtext of the geopolitical situation around the world, because if you follow the auto market, one of the biggest changes, and this is a fundamental, monumental shift that has happened in the auto market probably over the last 5 years, is, like it or not, China is the dominant auto market in the world, and not just from a purchasing standpoint, but also from a manufacturing standpoint. And I think, like this ES, we're going to start to see a lot of cars that are being designed for the Chinese market as their main and most important demographic, and then they make small changes and whatever to send them out to other markets in other parts of the world. That's what's happening with this ES. And one of the interesting things that's also come out of the Shanghai Motor Show is the Toyota BZ7. And what's interesting about the BZ7 is that thing was co-developed with GAC. And then the new ES was built on that. So the same way that the ES used to be built on the Camry and then built on the Avalon, this new ES is built on the BZ7, and that thing is co-developed with GAC Toyota, which is Toyota's Chinese conglomerate over there. That means that a lot of the engineering and decision making and R&D and design choices and things in the new ES are actually based on Chinese R&D. And then the result of that R&D and that design and that engineering is in the new ES, which is then going to go global. And we're starting to see that in other places too. Like, I mean, if you look at the new Lincoln Nautilus, for example, they actually manufacture that in China and then export it to the US for sale here. Buick has been doing that for a long time. And we're starting to see a lot of these automakers pivot away from, you know, catering primarily to the US to catering primarily to China, because China is becoming the dominant auto market in the world.
In just 5 years, China has gone from making that, whatever it is, to making these.
That does take us back to our original question, actually. So, in 5 years' time, everybody will be driving Chinese cars. Yes, we probably will.
We are doomed.
If the U.S. continues on its path toward, you know, insane tariffs and trying to keep out foreign automakers and just, you know, making it prohibitively difficult and prohibitively expensive to do business and import products and, you know, cater to the U.S. market, I think what we're going to see is a lot of these foreign automakers, especially the Asian automakers, the Japanese, the Koreans, start to pivot their attention to China.
By 2025, the road network will be big enough to cover the whole of the British Isles. All of it. Scottish Highlands, the lot. 20 times over.
Why would we reward Americans by, and their government's behavior by giving them great products. No, we're going to go compete in China. We're going to go give the Chinese customers who are buying cars left, right, and center millions and billions a year. And then, hey, America, if you can also, if you want the ES2, yeah, you can have it too, but it's not going to be made primarily for you anymore. It's going to be made for China. And then if you like what China gets, yeah, sure, we'll send a few your way. Like, the landscape is changing. The geopolitical situation around the world is changing. The dominant auto markets in the world are changing. And I think we're really starting to see, how automakers are responding to it. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope something in here was interesting or helpful, insightful, or, anything like that. I don't know if anyone's still watching this at all, but if you are, thank you for sticking with me. I appreciate it. I will talk to you guys soon. Questions and comments, as always, you can leave them downstairs, or you can write me an email here at the email you see on screen. I love hearing from you guys and having the conversations that we're having and talking all about the weird things going on in the auto market. So yeah, I appreciate you so much. I will talk to you in the next one. Have a great one and take care.